Okay, guys, so let's go ahead and look at this graph here. Okay, this graph is going to represent um, the change in how accurate your proportions need to be in comparison to, sorry, not in comparison. Yeah, in comparison to whether or not you have whether or not you have simple shapes and abstract shapes. Okay, so first, um, shapes being simple or abstract, that's kind of on a spectrum, right? You can have simple shapes, or you can have shapes that look closer to shapes that you can name, like triangles, circles, rectangles, right? Like the top of Patrick's head or like Patrick's arm. Those are simple shapes that would fall maybe somewhere around here because of how close they look like actual triangles, right? His stomach is like a big circle, right? So that would also fall somewhere around here, maybe a little bit closer to here, right? But we had the shapes like the leaves, right, where there's no way you could compare that to any other shape, and that's why that would fall in this area here, right? So the closer you are to simple shapes, the more accurate you have to be, right? Which is why we have the top point being at right where the top of the green line is touching like the very, very, very end where simple shapes is, right? And then as you get closer to an abstract shape, right, there's a point where it drops significantly, right? This middle area, it actually drops pretty quickly where your proportions don't have to be as accurate. And then the closer you get to abstract, uh, the less accurate it needs to be, right? So Patrick is kind of around this section, right? I said that it was about here, and if we go up to the top of this part of the graph where the line actually is, you need to have about this much. This much accuracy in proportion. Okay. Because of that, it's really important that you stick to measuring even in this refining shape step. All right. It's going to be a lot easier because there are fewer details, but the difficult part is still just remembering those proportions. All right. And if your shapes aren't exactly like Patrick's, then that's okay, right? As I mentioned here, you have a little bit of leeway, right? Not that much, not compared to as much as when you had the tree, right? But you have a little bit of leeway to get a little bit wrong, right? And it'll still look like your reference image.